Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today, don't make it a good day.
A great day. Every day. Salud, what's up, brother?
What's good, man? Thank you for coming on my show, man. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. Lucky Chucky, man.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you. This is Hard, by the way. We're Hard Warbangers boxing club right here in Chicago. He's originally from New York, though.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, too. I love everything you do, man. Keep up the good work.
Definitely appreciate that. So you have amount of views that is astronomical, man. 14.6 million views on TikTok. Like, how did you even get into TikTok?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by 14.6 million. I think it's like up to 19 million likes. But as far as views on videos, I couldn't even begin to count because it would probably be in the hundreds of millions. But what made me get into TikTok was my son and my daughter. You know, I seen them on TikTok. I was never no social media, internet personality guy. I was working at a machine shop, you know, pretty much fresh out the joint. And I decided to do a video advocating jobs to felons, and it went viral. So I'm like, hey, this is a great platform to get a message out there. And since then, it's been amplified.
Yeah. So how long until you went viral on TikTok until you went to the 60 days in, right?
Yeah. For TikTok, right, and TV, I was already receiving awards from the state of Illinois for helping other ex-felons, right? So after I went viral advocating jobs to felons, I had done numerous videos to go viral. And then the producers of the show wound up reaching out to me saying, hey, are you interested in coming on the show? And I'm laughing. I'm like, 5 years ago, we were laughing at these guys in the joint. I look like a bunch of snitches and stool pigeons. And I thought to myself, I would be interested in doing it, but I wouldn't go on there and look for drugs or shanks or try to set anybody up on the audio and video surveillance. I'll go in there as a prisoner's rights advocate to expose the conditions of that jail and the treatment of the inmates to make it better. And that's exactly what I did. It wound up going very well for me.
Yeah. I watched the show, man. You made it really interesting to watch. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you come in, Carlos grilling you. I'm like, damn, something's going to pop off with these two, man.
Yeah, he was swinging for my nuts on that show. As soon as I walked in there, the guy's like, Lucky Chucky, oh my God. Next thing I know, the guy's fucking cooking me soups. He's offering me his soap, offering to wash my drawers for me and everything. You know what I mean? The guy was swinging. What was funny, because I went on this show to promote it, right? Because I was already promoting businesses before I went on this show. And A&E wanted me to promote the show. But while I was on there, I'm the first participant. And this is the first season where none of the participants met prior to going in, because I didn't want nothing to do with them. Because I wasn't going there to snitch on nobody or look for drugs or shanks or anything like that. My mission was different. And they didn't know that. So when he seen me and he's like, oh my God, Lucky Chucky, the whole narrative of the show kind of switched up, because the jail was like a joke. Let's be honest. Cook County Jail, Rikers Island. The Henry County Jail is one of the safest county jails in the country, man. 65% of the inmates there are on psych drugs. It's more like a mental health facility. So, with my experience in being in jail and prison, some of the worst and the best, I went in there to make a difference, and that's what I did. And it went over well. But little Carlos, man, he's a little guy to me, man. But he's a troll. He's like a personal fan still. He calls to this day. He just called me yesterday. You know what I mean? He just called me yesterday.
That's one of the questions I have for you. How big of a difference is it being locked up from back then when you were locked up till now? How big of a difference was it?
You know what's interesting, Billy, is that, I've been getting locked up since the age of 12, 13 years old, and it kind of just came natural to me. I was actually looking forward to doing the whole 60 days in, because I wanted to break from my phone for that time. It was like a little vacation mentally for me, like a reset for me. I was
get paid for it, right?
Well, that's the thing too. I got paid more than them other guys on that show for promoting it, and they know that too, and that's why they're in their feelings about it too. But what I'm going to do today? I did a post exposing why I really left that show. I didn't leave that show based upon the fact that I missed my daughter or anything like that. I left because I wound up getting an altercation in medical where I had to defend myself against a mental health patient that's known to cause problems in that jail, and they were trying to put a case on me. The guy was screaming out that I assaulted him. I just defended myself, but they had to edit that out the show for legalities and negligence from the producers and the sheriff and everybody, and they didn't want that to be known. But I put it out there anyway. I'm not in contract anymore, so I can speak on it as much as I want to. Speaking at re-entry conferences, I just got done speaking at one in Florida. I was the keynote speaker for a room filled with people, standing room only, people that are in charge of making changes in the system, representatives 22 different states. I speak to the mental health and drug court participants here. I do philanthropy work right here in Chicago. I give back to the community. I do gift giveaways. I do work on Opportunity Block, on O Block. They call it O Block on the south side of Chicago, Pastor Corey Brooks. I do so much to give back, you know. So at the end of the day, that show went well for me, and I'm keeping up the same thing I did before the show, being a prisoner's rights advocate.
Yeah, it's just like so how did you get into the boxing? Because I knew you had some heated exchanges with Viking, right? Over the internet. And so how did all this come about?
You know what's funny, Billy, is that I've always been pugnacious. That means fond of fighting. In the 4th grade, I was getting kicked out of school. But me being a prisoner's rights advocate, me fighting and everything I do, even at 13 years old in the Cook County Juvenile Justice Detention Center, them guards used to gamble on us to fight one-on-one. So this shit just comes natural to me. So when I came on social media, you got a lot of guys that run their mouth. You got guys like Adam Calhoun. You got guys like Burnout, Burner 420 from Utah. The guy looks like he ain't put the meth pipe down yet. But Adam Clown, he's been on social media for 10 years. He has a song right now with Tom McDonald, that clown from Canada. I don't know if you heard it, called American Flags.
Yeah.
That goofy, he's not even a patriot, bro. He never even served in the military. The man told me in the Raw, he said his music is for your entertainment. He's a fake individual. He ducked me twice. He makes shirts that say "Fight Me" on the front, and he's got all these followers and he panders to people. So at the end of the day, I embraced this opportunity when I met Harv, and he runs a great boxing club that keeps kids away from gangs and drugs and criminality. These boxing clubs and events like this, they're outreach programs for individuals to release some of that anger and hostility and ultimately conflict resolution skills. Instead of banging right there on the block, why don't you come in the ring and bang it out? You know what I'm saying? With your opposition, instead of picking up a gun. That's what it's about. And a lot of people don't conceptualize that. That's why we have a lot of businesses stepping up, sponsoring this event, sponsoring me, and showing me love right here in Chicago, because they know I'm a real one. I keep it real. But ultimately, hopefully I get past this fight, and then my next fight will be against one of these other individuals like Clown Hoon. I call him Clown Hoon. I don't call him Adam Calhoun. To me, he's one of the biggest bitches on the internet, Billy. I'm just being real with you. He's a grown man that calls himself a white boy and makes tractor rap music. You know what I mean? That's what we call it, tractor rap.
Tractor rap. So Viking was locked up as well, right? He has a criminal past and all that.
Yeah, he does. And you know what's funny about my opponent, right? Now, Harv, this is a sanctioned event on behalf of USA Boxing. This is all professional. Like, this man does this for legit.
This is legit. Right. It's not just for show.
Right. This ain't one of these TikTok fight clubs where these guys are fighting for 1-minute rounds with 16-ounce gloves, like looking like a clown show. That's not even considered a real fight. You know what I mean? That's considered like what? Taking your training wheels off.
Sparring.
Right. So this is a sanctioned event. Like, this affects my record. Now, I don't plan to be I got so many things going on in my life that fighting ain't my main career. I just love doing it. You know what I mean? So what spawned this event with Viking is that he was talking shit about, they offered him to go on 60 Days In 3 times and he denied it. Then I called him out on and exposed some facts about him. Then he's actually a trained kickboxer, right? And he did some time in Florida. But come to find out, most of this content and shit that he speaks upon ain't even based upon facts. I got him on my live feed. And the only time he admitted that he got into a fight was when they tried to take his commissary. You know what I mean? They tried to extort him, so he had to fight. But he does all these posts about prison stories, about this and that, like he was really about that life. And ain't nobody in Florida vouching for him. So in my eyes, this is just a fight against to step up, be a man of your word. I believe he's going to show up to this fight. He's been in the ring before. I believe he's a go-getter. And at the end of the day, it'll be hard for me to shake this man's hand afterwards based upon the facts I know about him now. The man literally, this bitch-ass motherfucker, Billy, I don't mean to use vulgarity so much. This fucking guy is telling people I'm putting contracts out on his head. He's getting death threats in Florida, telling people that I'm putting contracts on him. Who the fuck does that? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck would you even say something like that? This guy, he'll say anything for a fucking view or a like or an excuse. All I hear from him is excuse. So at the end of the day, when we get in that ring, we're going to bang it the fuck out. And I'm used to fighting for my life. You know, I don't proclaim to be, Joe DiMaggio over here, Rocky Marciano. I've been doing this my whole life. I've been banging on my whole life. So I'm going to go in there with a little bit of, technical skill. I'm getting some training, and I'm gonna go banging out like fight for my life because that's what I'm used to doing. I ain't going out until I hit that belt.
You're training. You're not just gonna wing it, right?
Right. No, I'm not just winging it. I'm putting in a concept. I go to the gym every day, even before this fight. Like I'm the type of individual where I go to the gym and I train for life. So I'm embracing this opportunity to actually get in the ring. I'm excited for it. I truly am.
There's gonna be no more talking on this date when you guys finally meet it out in the ring. So when did all this pop off? How long has the tension been brewing between you guys?
Man, the tension is so brutal. The tension is so intense between us that he won't go on a live feed with me. He won't go on a podcast with me. He's not even really promoting this fight. I'm the one. You see my fight poster in business all over Chicago, from the south side, the north side, the west side.
Yeah, it was on the truck. You got the trucks and all that, right?
I got him at Polecats. We got him at Polecats. The best gentleman's club in the Midwest. At the end of the day,
you can't duck this one. You ain't ducking this one, man.
Right? No, I never done. That's what a lot of people say.
He can't. Nobody can. They can't. Because your whole reputation is on the line with this one.
Yeah. I can expose more things about my opponent that I found out about him. But honestly, I think I just embarrassed him so much that he just wants to get in the ring and fight as well. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to do no more talking either because he can't talk. He can't talk because his actions are unjustifiable. I'll address any question you have about me based upon your allegation. But when I accuse you of something, I show you facts and I hear excuses. He has no justification in communication. So he can't even have a podcast or go on a live with me because he's scared. I'll drop him off verbally, just like I already killed him on social media. So now my goal is to get him in the ring.
So this is definitely going to be a war. These guys genuinely do not like each other. They genuinely want to get into the ring and trade these punches. To be honest, I think it's been a little bit of a challenge to keep them separated because, it's so much energy in between them.
I can sense it. I can sense it already. He's ready to go in there right now. It's like, man, hey, it's all gonna be rectified on August 26th, right? 3 p.m. Saturday. 3 p.m. So where's the event at, and what's the turnout supposed to be looking like?
So right now we're at Cicero Stadium. We got general admission seats left. Majority of ringside, majority of floor seats are already gone. So it's, people get your tickets because they're literally flying off the racks. We're looking forward to the weigh-in, which is at Seven's Bar Nightclub.
7 Nightclub and Lounge.
Nightclub and Lounge. So that is going to be a perfect spot for the weigh-in. A lot of lights, camera, and action. We're going to have pro fighters weighing in for the event the next day also. So we're looking at a great event. I think I'm more anxious about it than the fighters are because, it's who knows what's going to happen. You got Chucky, you got the Viking. What more could you ask for? These two guys literally are at each other's throats.
If this guy shows up to the weigh-ins, because it's at 7 Nightclub and Lounge, right? The fight's at Cicero Stadium. Like I said, we made the fight for 3 p.m.
When is the weigh-in? How long? When is the weigh-in?
Oh, it's between 5 and 10 p.m. We got all the pro fighters going there to weigh in, just announcements.
The night before.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the fight in general, we made it for 3 p.m. The doors open at 2. There's 10 fights, and then I'll be getting in the ring probably around between 4 and 5, somewhere around there. But we made it that time because I have over half of my followers on TikTok alone. I'm almost up to 900,000, almost 1 million. Half my followers are from Chicago alone. So I want I know I got a lot of older and younger, people that follow me, and, I want them to make it at that time. So that's why we made it at that time. And, I believe I got the whole VIP over at 7 Nightclub and Lounge. I don't even think my opponent's going to show up to the weigh-ins because he's scared. Like, he thinks something's going to happen to him. But if he does show up, I told Harvin Aron, if he gets near me, I'm going to stick this man in the mouth before he sticks me first because he's a snake. And if he gets anywhere near me after all that talk he did, right when he comes near me, bam, get away from me. So if he comes there, just keep him away from me.
Here's the belt that's on the line. Chicago versus United States.
That's going to be my belt right here. That's going to be my belt right here, man. We're going to hold it down. Chicago versus the United States. And the next fight will be Chicago versus the suburbs. And hopefully that clown Hoon will come out of his shell because we might have the event at his next door neighbor's house next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
That's gonna be my
so
belt right
Viking, he knows about the weigh-ins and all that, right? You guys already invited the invitation out to him?
Yeah. We invited him to podcast. We were supposed to do some before, but he's like, oh, if I go on the podcast, you can't talk about this. Man, fuck you. You come on the podcast where we're talking like men. Let's address the problems we have like men and get past it. If I'm wrong about you, if I accused you of something and I'm wrong, and you show me I'm wrong, I'll apologize like a man and say, my bad. But he can't even do that because he knows he's bogus and wrong. The man, I'm just going to put it out there. We exposed him for being a liar already. He's literally, I already exposed him. He lied to the promoters about a case that he has pending in Florida, saying it was a civil. It was really a misdemeanor. I don't want to get into his personal business too much, but he's already been exposed for being a liar. Ultimately, I hope he shows up to this fight. If he doesn't, I'll have a backup fighter no matter what, because I'm fighting that day no matter what.
So I spoke to Viking, and from what I understand, he is already here in Chicago. So there's definitely a fight happening, and we're definitely on board for the fight.
So it's in 22 days to be exact, right?
Right.
Man, this is going to be
it's crunch time. Man. Crunch time is what it is, you know. So
I know he's not in Chicago already.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. So he's here. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. No. He will be in Chicago soon.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. He's not here. What? But I have been in communication with him. I have been in communication with him, and he is definitely coming to the fight. So it's definitely going to be a fight, and it's definitely going to happen. And what I would like to know is what first round. What's going through your head? What's the plan?
First rounds, I'm excited to get in that ring and just throw some hands. I'm excited to take a couple of hits. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I'm geek. You know what I'm saying? I want to hurt this man just like he wants to hurt me. So we're going to get in there and rock it out. May the best man win. You know what I mean? I know I ain't losing unless it's a TKO. So, I'm going to knock him out too.
All right.
You know what I mean?
You're going for the knockout straight in? You're going to go for the knockout?
You know, my technique when I go in there, I'm not going to go in there. That's what he wants. See, that's what my opponent thinks. He thinks I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be throwing haymakers and just trying to knock him out right away. I'm going to go in there strategically. I'm going to feel him out. I'm going to go in there like a boxer. I'm not going to go in there like we're in the middle of the cell or an alley somewhere and trying to get it over with before the COs interfere. That's not my mindset anymore. This is a boxing event. And I'm used to being a street fighter and getting it over with quick. I've been in riots and everything. I've been stabbed, shot.
Have you ever had any crazy fights in the cell where it's just you and another dude and you guys are...
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But you got to remember, when you're in a cell like that, anything goes. You can pick up that TV, bust him over the head. You can hit him with a knee. You can hit him with an elbow. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is a totally different concept for me, you know? I'm embracing it.
You said he's a kickboxer, so it's going to be, he's used to using his legs. I'm sure he'll feel a little awkward not being able to use them, right?
Yeah. You know, people are telling me, like, he's got more experience than me in the ring. From what I understand, he was trying to say that he has more experience than me, and this is an unfair fight based upon his experience. But come to find out, he only had, 3 fights and 3 losses or something like that? He got knocked out one time in the ring. So his experience don't accumulate to much when it comes to big kickboxing compared to boxing, because he can't use his feet or his legs, you know what I mean, or his knees, you know?
Well, someone's going to walk away with that belt on the 26th.
Yeah.
And someone will either be laying on the canvas or they'll be coherently getting into the ambulance, right? You're going to have an ambulance on standby.
So, hey, like I said, the point is that a lot of these guys on social media, I'm going to be honest with you, they talk a lot of shit. And, you know, this guy, his whole career and future, he said it verbatim in a text message. You know, his manager said, Vikings' whole future relies on this fight. Me, no matter what happens with this fight, it's not going to hinder what I got going on in life. I got so many things going on, but at the end of the day, my goal is to win, and all I do is win. So I got that mindset like I'm going to win, you know, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do.
Hey, man, I think you got a big shot. You got the hometown advantage, right?
Yes, sir. We got the whole city backing us up on this one. You know, we're both what are we? Both heavyweights. We both have to weigh in at 210. We're both
what's your stats? Height. Your stats. What's the reach and all that on him versus you? Do you guys know all these stats?
we're gonna put that out there the night of the fight, because with the weigh-ins they do the stretch,
Yeah, we're gonna get measurements of the arms and reach.
yeah.
I would also like to point out that we got streaming available. Also, it's on the poster that you got, fightstreams.com, and you could just go on there and purchase the stream. If there was anything else that I'd like to ask is, when it's all said and done, when it's over, Chucky, are you gonna shake his hand? Is it gonna be a moment where you guys could reconcile your differences and display these confrontational skills that you guys are, doing?
At this point, it's like, I wouldn't want to. If he comes to the press con, if he comes to weigh-ins, and we're able to have a sit down and talk before the fight, where he can come see me man to man, and he's accused me and said a lot of bullshit about me, but he won't even go on a podcast or go live with me. How am I, win, lose, or draw? How am I expected to shake this man's hand? I have no respect for him as a man. As a man, it don't matter if he's fighting me or not. I respect the fact that he's getting in the ring and fight with me. That's respect given to another fighter. But as a man, I don't respect him. But if he comes and sits down with me at the weigh-ins, I'll have some type of respect for him. I would. Just come sit down. I don't know why he wouldn't come to weigh-ins. He thinks I'm going to get him harmed or something when he comes to Chicago. I don't know what he's thinking. But
you can guarantee you guys can guarantee his safety. He comes to the weigh-ins.
Guaranteed. We got security there. It's the Belmont Central neighborhood. There's so much security there. I don't want nothing to happen. He's got a family at the end of the day, man. That's why we're doing this, to, conflict resolution skills, handle our problems in the ring. We're not doing it outside the ring. We're both men here, and that's what we're supposed to be, examples for our children and the other and other kids out there. Us acting like fools like this on social media and not even be able to talk and handle our I would rather shake his hand rather than kick him in the head when he's down. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I hope he shows up for the weigh-ins, because I really like to sit down with him face to face and see my opponent face to face before we get in that ring.
How long has it been brewing? A year? Longer?
It's been about,
I want to say about 5-6 months.
Yeah, about 5-6 months. We were in negotiations for a while. These guys, they're even during negotiations, man. Their team was a joke to deal with, man. I got to the point where I just didn't want to deal with them anymore. I was like, you know what? You motherfuckers are full of shit, man.
Man, it was tough.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, he never lied about that. That was the toughest negotiations I've ever had in my life. But, thank God we got it done. We got it done, and here's the fight, less than 3 weeks away.
Yeah. If he don't show up to this fight, not only is it going to cost him morally, but he's under contract. So technically he has to show up to this fight, or else he has responsibilities to uphold after that if he doesn't show up. He didn't waste our time for nothing. But I believe in my heart, I think he is.
I'm confident he's going to show up.
I think he wants to get it in.
They both want to fight each other, and that makes for the best fight, right?
It does. It does. They both sound like I've seen like 1 or 2 videos of him saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in there and do this and that." Maybe I'll put a clip into this video, and we're gonna see what happens on the 26th, man. I look forward to this one. I'm gonna be buying the stream.
Salud. We got people getting the streams already. I think we got I don't know how many, but people are actually purchasing these streaming services, because I got people that follow me all the way in Australia, all over the country, all over the world. So at the end of the day, if they can't make it to the fight, I encourage them to get the streaming and show some support, because at the end of the day, these events like this, it all goes to a bigger purpose, and that's keeping kids away from gangs and drugs, and even adults, because the last event that Harv Warbangers had that I attended, there were kids fighting there from the ages of 10, 13, 15, 20, 25, 30. Even what was the oldest guy fighting at the last fight?
I believe he was like 29.
29. I was the oldest fighter last time. So I think I'm the oldest fighter fighting at this event. I'm 44 years old.
Yeah, I'm 44 too, man. We're all old. I feel like an old man.
I don't feel old. I feel great, man. I think doing 13 years in the joint preserved me. I truly do. But plus, most of my life, I never really abused drugs, and I try to take care of myself. You know what I mean? Before the age of 17, I went to prison at 17, so my guys put me up on the weights and to be healthy right away. But before that, I used to run from the police all the time, so my cardio was up to par.
And then you're doing the back bends with them handcuffing you every 2 weeks, right? Hey, man, it's all about living a different life and trying to move forward. I seen that you had some hostilities with the correction officers at 60 days in too, man. What was up with that?
I did, man, because them guys don't do their job. Even on 6 days in, Those guys are getting haircuts now. They're separating mental health from general population. Even on the show, I exposed that sheriff and Shaq for the job and the negligence that they're doing. You got them officers walking right past my cell like I ain't even there. You know what I mean? I'm calling them out on this bullshit. Them officers there don't care about them inmates. They're just there for a check. They're talking about a COVID quarantine unit, but I ain't seen one hand sanitizer there the whole time, and ain't nobody cleaned the phones or nothing. The place was a joke. It was a joke to me, you know? It was inhumane.
So prison has changed a lot since you've been there last.
Yeah, but you know, in Cook County Jail,
it's night and day, right? Night and day compared. It's night and day compared to where you've been in the past.
As far as the treatment of another human being, you know, Cook County Jail on a violence scale, and as far as the organization and structure, Cook County Jail, they fed you right. They gave you an exercise program. They separated mental health from general population. They gave you haircuts and razors when you want them. In Georgia jails, they don't do none of that. No exercise programs, no haircuts, no razors, no separating mental health from general population. They didn't even feed those guys right. You got guys in that jail 3 months getting home lactose intolerant because they ain't drink no milk in so long. And milk is vital. I mean, babies drink it. Adults need it too. Milk does a body good. But they're required by law to feed those guys right. And them motherfuckers in Georgia, they're doing whatever the fuck they want to do just to make money off those inmates. And I made it clear. I pointed that out. And now they're feeling.
Did you feel like people knew that you weren't from there when you first got there and you spoke with people? Did you feel like, damn, I'm from a whole different state? I feel like they know I'm from somewhere else.
Well, hell yeah, they knew. You know, the jail that I went to, there was only 900 people in that jail, 48% in which were African American, 49% in which were white. There was only 1% Latinos in that jail. So me coming from
Chicago, it was Carlos, right?
Right, yeah. And then you got Carlos running the cameras 3 times a day. You got guys in that jail, they got cameras and microphones in every cell, and you got producers with microphones coming in the cell unit. They knew, they mentioned that show 6 Days in numerous times. I didn't even want to be in front of the camera. I told them to leave me alone. You got guys like Carlos run that camera every chance he got, running out for interviews. The whole jail was like a joke. But when I walked in that jail, the booking officers knew who I was. Because, you know, when you go through booking in a jail, you got to do fingerprints, right? I didn't do no fingerprints. How would I do fingerprints? Because I'm going in there as Chase Honacki or Chase Hughes, not Charles Honacki. But even the booking officers knew who I was. Little Carlita recognized me as soon as I went in there. The other officer, remember when I was talking shit to that officer? He was like, "Where do I know you from?" You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, I did some time over here." And he was like, "Oh, I'm from Chicago." And then I said, "Oh, okay, that's where you know me from." And I spun him off. But he never said how he knew me. Okay, you're from Chicago. Were you a Cook County correction officer? He recognized me in front of my cellie, and I spun him off me. So yeah, people definitely knew who I was, man. You know, that jail was sad, though. I was one of the biggest dudes in there, man. Them guys were malnourished, unhealthy, looking like Neanderthals. They had no razor haircuts in months. That jail was sad.
A lot of drugs. A lot of people are on drugs nowadays, man. How is the violence and all that out there in Chicago now since past years? Has it really changed since the pandemic and everything on the streets out there in Chicago?
You know what? It's the culture of the city. And the best way I think to answer that question is just culture, you know. I could say next year will be less murders, but it's nothing you could do to prevent it or stop it unless you're in the thick of it and, you know, working with the people. And that's what my boxing club brings to the table. We go to the worst neighborhoods and we bring boxing there. And don't get me wrong, there's boxing gyms all over the city. But we physically we go to the hood and do our events. And, you know, these are the same places where shootouts happen. And we go there and we get and spread love. So, you know, that's the best way. It's really no way around it. All we can do is do the best we can to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to places that other gyms won't go, right? Because they're
generally in buildings, but we're going outside. We're going where the action is happening. And and we get a lot of love and support from the same people that are getting criticized for their culture. And I think it's just culture is really what it is. You know,
how long have you been doing it for?
So I've been doing it since 2008. We didn't become established or formed as an actual club until 2016. And that club was 5 original members from 5 different neighborhoods who would have normally been at each other's throats. We brought them together and formed this club. It's And it's a beautiful thing. And look, we got Chucky here, and he's about to go fights on from Florida, and we're bringing these people together. And even though there's conflict, at the end is the resolution. Everyone goes home.
Yeah. And you're going home to your family. You're not going back to prison. Everyone gets to walk away, man. Because normally the one person be dead, the other person be off to prison, 2 families ruined, and what do you have there? Nothing, man.
Nothing.
Yeah, this fight means so much. It means so much to me, especially on social media. All the guys that go on there, you got so many people on there that have accounts and just pander to people, and they talk a lot of smack and they don't back it up. So it's gonna mean a lot just to get in the ring and just go at it. You know what I mean? Just handle our differences, but get it in. You know, because I've been anxious to do it for a while, so I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I'm from the East Coast, and I've been hearing the promotion on this fight, so things are really buzzing, man, and I can't wait for it to be out there. And I'll leave a link in the description for people to buy the stream. And I wish you the best, Chucky, man.
Lou, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Like I said, we're gonna hold it down right here. Hey, if you want to, we'll do a post interview as well after the fight. You know what I mean? We'll do it. I got some call outs to do, man, after this. You know what I
mean? Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Herb, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank
you.
And
if you guys like this type of content, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't, too bad. Start your own podcast. And remember, don't be a bitch. Peace.